Yo, what's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's having a blessed day so far. Type a one in the chat if you're excited to get some crypto sauce tonight. Let's go. So, for those who don't know who I am, my name is Jason. I've been a part of Powerhouse for the last year and a half now. And honestly, this community alone has been able to do a lot for me. I am kind of young, so they kind of taught me a little bit how it is just to go into, I guess you could say, that adult life. And not only that, the speaker we have today, he has traveled from the UK to the US and has helped hundreds of investors start up their crypto portfolios, learn how to see what cryptos to invest into, and has 4 years in the market. And this man alone has helped me personally in many ways I couldn't even think of when it comes on the etiquette, crypto, just things that you wouldn't even think of that this community could teach you. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring up the boy, John Luke.
Wow, I appreciate that, Jason, massively. Let's put tens in the chat for our good boy Jason. I'm so happy and excited to be on this call. For those of you who don't know, he is somebody who is literally 19 years old. What a young professional man, and sometimes it's nerve-wracking to come on here and open up a massive call. So I really appreciate you setting the intention straight. For those of you who don't know, my name is Jean-Luc Randin. Yeah, I'm from the UK. I moved over to America a few years ago, and my focus was really to play soccer. It kills me to say that. Some of you here know me from England. You'll be like, why are you speaking like that? But I'm in Texas, right? And so that was my vision and dream. And then, everything changed in 2021. When I met somebody online who's now my brother called Jesus Gill. You guys are going to hear from him tomorrow, which is going to be incredible. But long story short, he just mentioned like, hey, like, have you looked at the markets before? And I was like, I have, but who do you go to? Where do you learn? Like, who do I trust? And I made that dive, I took the risk and I said, hey, like, let me see what this is about, right? And it was March 2021, one of the best decisions I made in my life. And 4 years and a bit later, still here, learning, growing. And it's just incredible. And I'm blessed to have this opportunity really to educate and also be a student of the game as well. So pat on the back to everybody for even attending, because you could be doing anything on this Wednesday evening. We have people in Australia. This is like Thursday for them. And so you decided to come here, get some value. I'm so excited to run day 2 out of 4 of this Freedom Formula Bootcamp. And so today is about crypto. Today is about this strange, ambiguous, like, what is this online technology thing that people are making money from, and how are they making money from it? And like, where do I go? Like I don't even know where to start. So before we really dive into things, I have a presentation set out for you. I'm going to need you to have 3 or 4 things at the ready to go, because you are not going to leave this call without information that can change your situation. I can guarantee you that. This information on this call, it's been curated from thousands of dollars, from trips to Dubai, from trips to Europe, from trips to the Caribbean. Like, all of that information, I'm literally going to consolidate from event to event and put it in these next 45 minutes. So make sure you have a notepad and pen, number 1. Make sure you turn off all other devices if you're not working. If you're driving, then, stay focused on the road. And thirdly, make sure that you go ahead and apply this information after this call. So put a 10 in the chat if you feel like you are ready, you know what the task is, you know what the intention is, and you got things ready to take notes on. We're going to dive into this, family. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let me go ahead over there. Freedom Formula. This is day 2, crypto and investing fundamentals. So this is the itinerary. We're going to dive into the evolution of money. What does that even mean? How did everything start? Then we're going to dive into what is crypto, just pure basics. The next thing is going to be exchanges. Where do I buy this? What exchanges do you recommend? Where is it that I choose to invest in that's safe compared to somewhere that's risky? The fourth thing is wallets. Where do I even hold this stuff, right? Wallets are different to exchanges. I didn't know there was a difference there. What's a hot wallet? What's a cold wallet? Then the fifth slide, we're going to dive into portfolio building. How do I create a portfolio, Jean-Luc? Like, I hear about people having Bitcoin, Chainlink, Polkadot. Like, how do I know what percent to put into where? Because it's going to depend on the type of investor you are. And that's really important to know. Number six, pros and risks, right? I didn't say pros and cons because don't believe in that. I believe that there's just risks to every decision in life that you make. I want you to think about this. Whatever you say yes to in life, you are inadvertently in the same breath saying no to the other thing, right? And that's the same thing in cryptos, opportunity costs. And number six is projects. That's probably the slide which, if you're like an intermediate player, advanced player, you're like, yeah, like I want to skip straight to six. But we got to go through the fundamentals and the basics first. So I need full participation with this question because this is going to tell me what level of difficulty I'm really going to dive into. Because, hey, we can go super advanced or we can go super basic. So 1 to 10 in the chat, right? Really important. 10 meaning you're an absolute advanced, maybe like multiple years in crypto. You got like liquidity farming, providing like, all the ins and outs. And a 1 meaning like, I don't have any crypto. Like, I don't know what crypto or Bitcoin is. I've only heard of the damn thing. So please put in the chat. We have 38 people here. Where are you on this scale of 1 to 10? Are you a 1, bare bones beginner, like know nothing? Or are you more like a 7, 8? Like, you've been in this. You understand about the advanced of this. Let's have a little look in the chat and see where we're at. So I see, okay, cool. I see a few 2s. I see 5. I see 4. I see Jason with the 8. Okay, Jason, I see you. Sergio, Justin. Okay, brilliant, brilliant, cool. So the amazing thing is we have many people on this call who are completely new to this, right? And so that's okay. I'm going to break this down in a simplistic manner. Yep, so obviously that's me, but with a haircut, not right now. Cool. So evolution of money. How are we going to start this off with? Barter system. Where did all of this began? Now, all of this began, family, with literally like trading like a wooden spoon with like, I don't know, like a metal pot or something, right? Back hundreds of years ago. That was the financial system then. And then we moved on to commodities. Commodities is gold, silver, copper. I don't know if you're like me, but I take interest in like history and I watch these old British shows and, like the Roman Empire and they used to like trade these things with just like stools outside their farms, right? Like that was the form of money. But then we moved on to metal money, copper, silver, things of that nature. And that was used often in the Roman Empire. And then paper money, right? We actually had paper and the amount written of what that is actually worth. But then we moved on to banknotes. And banknotes, as we know today, you might have a £10, a $10, $50, £50, whatever it is. And so that was the exchange. But then we moved on to fiat money. And that is slightly different than banknotes. That's a little bit more professionalized and secure. And then we moved on to digital money. Now, digital money, right? We have Zelle, we have Venmo, Cash App, all these ways, Monzo, ways of transferring money from country to country, with like minimal lag. And so that's the system that we're currently in. And actually, it was in the 1971 where the gold standard actually occurred. For those of you who don't know, paper money, fiat money, it was backed by gold until 1971. And then the Federal Reserve, which is the central bank in America, said, hey, like, we don't want these paper notes to be backed by anything. We're just going to have it backed by nothing, which means that pretty much over time, it will become worthless. And that's why, since fiat money has no backing, it's been depreciating in value. It's been going down in value. Fun fact, $100 bill from 1903 is worth less than $3 today. That same $100 bill from over 100 years ago is now worth less than $3. Why? Well, because there's unlimited supply. They can print as much of it as often as they like, right? Basic economics. Anything that is unlimited, that anybody can attain, over time, demand will fall and price will fall. You know, if you guys are into like fashion, think about Jordans. If there's a million Jordan 4s coming out and there's only 10,000 Jordan 1s coming out, which Jordans are going to be more desired? Which Jordans are going to appreciate in value over time? Well, it's the one that has less of it available. And that's the problem with cash. That's the problem with every cash system in every single country today. So what we need to do is we need to find alternatives. We need to find alternatives that can actually beat the inflation rate and alternatives that appreciate in value rather than depreciate. Well, what have we got? We've got cryptocurrency. And that is just the natural evolution and flow of where finance is going. And I hope this imagery really depicts that. So feel free to take a screenshot, because now we're going to dive into what the thing is, right? Now you understand where it derived from, how it originated, and now I'm going to dive into what it is. It's simply a digital or virtual form of currency that uses cryptography for security. How do we break that down? Well, in the traditional financial system, guys, there's something called a central bank in every country. In England, the central bank is the Bank of England. In America, it's the Federal Reserve. Now, that central bank is the intermediary, it's the middleman. It monitors every single transaction happening with USD and with GBP in England. Every single thing. And so what that means is that you don't wholly own it. You don't have full ownership of the money you have in a bank right now. And I know this because I literally work for an investment bank in New York, and I get to see and hear things in and out. What does that mean? That means that with cryptocurrency, it's a point A to point B transaction. There's no middleman taking out fees. There's no middleman where it delays in the transaction. There's no middleman saying if you lose your money or if we lose your money, like you're not going to get it back. And that's basically what the current traditional system is. And so one of the interesting things that really got me into this space of investing and trading, there's a little story behind it. And it was in March 2021. And I was in my little college dorm room. And I was 21 years old at the time. And I was studying finance, right, as a degree. But I never learned this one fact. And this was told to me on Zoom. And it was this. It was that your money in the bank, not only do you not own it, but there's people at the bank trading your money and making money off your money. I said, hold on a minute. Like, I'm studying finance and I've lived on earth for 21 years. And you're telling me that the bankers are literally trading my money. Let's say you have 10,000 in savings. They're making hundreds of percent every single month. And they're giving me back, what, 2% interest a year? Like 4% interest a year? I mean, like, what is 2% of $10,000? That is $200. So I'm earning $200 interest a year, but they're making thousands of percent on my money. I said, damn, this is almost like the world's biggest scam. Like, why did I not learn how to do what the banks do with my money? So I said, enough is enough. I'm going to take action. I'm going to do what the banks do with my money, except keep almost 100% of the profit. Put a 5 in the chat if you guys can like agree with me here. Like, if that makes sense. Like, why would I let the bank do with my money, make high ROI, return on investment, and get like 1% back, 2% back? That's craziness. I'm going to do what they do and keep almost all of it. Now, is it going to be easy? No. And I'm not the type of individual to come on this call and say, yeah, guys, like this is going to be light work. Like it's going to be so easy to make X amount return, X amount of profit. This is something that anyone can do at any time. No, guys, like this is challenging. And I know you don't often hear this from, maybe gurus online, but I'm going to be real with you. This isn't easy, but I can tell you one thing. It's simple. It's simple. And it's just doing the basics over and over and over again. And so that was why I decided to dive into markets. I wanted ownership and time freedom. And this is what crypto and the markets can provide. So let's move on. Now, where can you actually buy these things, right? Where can you buy these things? I don't know if you guys noticed on the previous slide, there was a term called blockchain technology. Now, blockchain technology is what crypto runs on. It's what makes it unique. And I'm going to give you guys a little like market tip. You will hear words and you will hear languages that will purposefully scare you or have you fearful of learning about it. For example, if you was to hear the word blockchain, you might be like, whoa, like slow down. Like I don't know if I want to get into that. That sounds scary. That sounds like something that, I don't know anything about. Well, let me tell you this. All it means is this. Every single transaction that occurs in crypto, if I'm to send Bitcoin to Jason, if I'm to receive Ethereum from Alex, if I'm to receive Polkadot from Lincoln, all it means is that each transaction is recorded, it's tracked, and it is transparent, which means nobody can be hidden. Can you imagine if we had a financial system where every single transaction is public? Like you can see it. Imagine a financial system where sending money country to country is instantaneous. Not only instantaneous, but it doesn't cost 5, 10, $20 for a wire fee. Like I literally just sent money from the UK and the fee was like $25. And I'm like, damn, like $25 per transaction. That is the difference between blockchain technology and the current fiat system. So, where can you buy these things, guys? Coinbase is one of the exchanges. And an exchange, write this down, notepad and pen. I purposely didn't put it in a PowerPoint so that you guys can write down a little bit. An exchange is a place that you can buy and sell crypto. Simple as that. Not hold crypto. Buy and sell only. Now, you can hold it there, but hold your horses because you're going to see why it's not the best idea to keep your money there. Coinbase is one of the world's largest exchanges. I think it's the sixth or seventh largest exchange in the world. If you reside in the US or Europe or out of Asia, like outside of Asia, this is basically like the safest and best bet. And the reason why is because the CEO is called Brian Armstrong, and he is like a big crypto advocate. He's somebody who, a lot of big money, like hedge funds and family offices, they actually transact on Coinbase. And just use basic knowledge. I would rather put my money and move my money in places that billionaires move their money rather than in places where people with like $100 move their money. That's why Coinbase is a good recommendation. You also have Kraken. Now, Kraken is a great exchange, very simple. For those of you who are beginners, you may want to look at transacting there. KuCoin is something that is very used by people who often dive into altcoins. Now, here's a little term for you. Altcoins just means alternative coins. All it means is coins that basically aren't Bitcoin or Ethereum. Because like Bitcoin and Ethereum are the meccas. They are the large cryptos, right? Like Bitcoin is valued at over 100,000. Ethereum's at like 3, 4K. So altcoins are basically the smaller stuff. And so if you're somebody who's like, into trading or into investing and getting in and out and getting in these low cap coins that are like high risk, high reward, KuCoin might be for you. Binance is typically used in Asia. It's very Asia friendly in China, Korea, things like that. But Binance, I would be a little bit careful of because the CEO has had a few lawsuits and allegations that the US have against him. So the guy's called CZ. Wouldn't necessarily look at Binance too much. Let's move on to the next slide, guys. So this is exchanges, but now I'm going to show you guys the difference between an exchange and a wallet. A wallet is a place where you hold crypto, right? This is where you actually like keep your investment growing. And so decentralized wallets. Decentralized is a word that's going to trick up a few people, right? It's going to have a few people scared. All decentralized means is in a centralized system, we have an intermediary, which is Federal Reserve. In a decentralized system, there is no middleman. You have full ownership. But what does that also mean? That means full accountability. So there's pros and cons, right? Maybe if you send money to the wrong account in our like centralized system, you can call up NatWest, you can call up Barclays, Wells Fargo, like Fidelity, wherever you are in the globe, and say, hey, like I made a bad transaction. It was to the wrong guy. Can I get my funds back? In this decentralized space, you can't do that. So if you get a crypto address, right, from your friend and you're sending from your Bitcoin address to their Bitcoin address, but you put in the wrong digit, the wrong number, the wrong letter, the money's gone. Like just letting you know, you can't call up Exodus, Ledger, MetaMask and say, hey, my mistake. So there's full ownership, but there's also full accountability on your end. And so Exodus is a decentralized wallet. And this is where you can also buy, but you can hold crypto on there. A ledger is a hardware wallet. So let me break this down. A software wallet is simply something that is not physical. It's simply something where you can hold crypto, but basically hold it on the platform itself. But a hardware wallet is almost like a USB stick, right? Now, this USB stick is still connected to, is not connected to the internet, but it's a physical device that you can hold your crypto. And it's actually more secure than having it on your internet or on a software wallet. So it's offline. That's the biggest thing that I want you to understand. Now, a MetaMask, what is that? That is simply a browser extension. Maybe you use Safari, Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, whatever it is. And it's an extension that you can actually hold crypto within on the Ethereum blockchain. I don't want to get too into the nitty gritty, but basically it's an extension where you can hold crypto. That's really what a wallet is. So the safest bet, the most secure place, guys, is to have it in a hardware wallet like a ledger. And that's what we call a cold storage because it's off the internet rather than a hot wallet, which is connected to the internet. Now, here's a little security tip. You don't want to transact crypto using public Wi-Fi at Starbucks. Not going to be smart because there's very intelligent blockchain developers and hackers out there who can get into the Starbucks Wi-Fi. And if you're moving your crypto thinking you're all safe and everything's good, they can actually hack and get in the middle of that transaction. So it's not to scare you, but the best precaution is use a Wi-Fi at home and have a hardware wallet, which is a ledger, which is a small physical device. Put a 10 in the chat if this is making sense, guys. If you guys are getting value, you feel like you're understanding most of what's going on, put a 10 in the chat if you're like, hey, I'm tagging along. I got what you're talking about. And I'm, not going too quick or too advanced for you guys because, I can get excited and go on a whole tangent. So I just want to make sure we're all tapped in. Amazing, amazing. Appreciate it. So now we're going to dive into the pros and the risks. The pros and the risks. Now, one of the pros is ownership. I've mentioned to you that. That is simply decentralization, where you own the damn thing. Number two, security. Now, you cannot counterfeit or double spend this currency. This is not like cash. I mean, how many times have we heard people say, there's so many scams in crypto, like there's NFT scams, these like digital things, like someone can screenshot it and like it's the same value as XYZ. Guys, let me tell you this. Is there scams with cash? Put a yes in the chat if you guys agree. Like there's scams with cash, right? Like there are people who counterfeit cash. Like, do you agree with me? Like, like you cannot mitigate completely the fact that there's always going to be nefarious actions in industries of technology. Of course there is, right? Like, of course. And so it's not that there's zero risk in crypto. There is. But guess what? You can't double spend crypto like cash. You can't counterfeit a crypto. You can make one and make it a hype coin and lie to people, but you can't counterfeit something. No one can make the exact same thing as me. And you know why? Because there's a blockchain address in the technology that makes mine unique compared to somebody else. So let me just give you guys an example. How many of us have seen these monkey NFTs, these digital art, and gone like, wow, like, great, but I could just screenshot it and I own the thing as well, right? I remember going to Miami. They have an incredible festival called Art Basel. This happens every year. It's like one of the biggest art festivals in the globe. And it happens every November. And Art Basel, all these like art people and investors come to Miami and they showcase these incredible portraits. Some of them are physical, but guess what? Some of them are NFTs. And if there's an NFT in Art Basel going for $100,000 because there's this like monkey thing and the artist is incredible, I can't take a photo on my phone and sell it online and say it's the same thing. Do you want to know why? Because that $100,000 NFT, guys, has an address, a unique address in the blockchain that makes it special. And that's why. It might look the same as mine, but it isn't. So the value is different. The utility of it is different. And that's one of the biggest benefits. Number three is accessibility, guys. 24/7 financial market. Is the traditional financial system 24/7? No, of course not. There's an open and a close. But what about the ability to trade or invest on a Saturday morning in Mexico when you're chilling by the beach? When stocks aren't open, you can't get in stocks, but you can trade crypto. And I've literally been with people on the beach in Cancun, making money, doing yoga. Like literally doing yoga. It's crazy. And that's what I love about this market and why I'm so happy that you guys are here ready to learn. And the next one is affordability. There's something called fractionalization. And, like I said, this is like a complex term, but it's really simple. Fractionalization is this. It's the fact that you don't have to buy one Ethereum worth $4,000 to have access to the market, guys, to have skin in the game. What if I told you you can buy 0.01% of Ethereum? You can own 0.01 Ethereum, the second largest crypto in the globe. Why? Because it's fractionalized. You can buy a piece of something and still have some investorship within it. And that's a big benefit. Scarcity. This is key. There's only 21 million Bitcoins out there. I don't know if you guys know this. And that is a massive fact. Because remember my Jordan analogy with the shoes, right? If we go to CoinGecko, this is like a top tip. CoinGecko is a great website to check out the pricing of cryptocurrency. Now, if we click Bitcoin, which is the largest crypto in the entire market, many of you have heard of it, and we look at the market cap, I mean, it's basically 2.2 trillion and it's worth $111,000 right now. You're like, oh my gosh, like it's way too expensive. Like, why would I do that? The max supply is what? Is what? Put in the chat box, guys. What is the max supply of Bitcoin right now? I hope you know your zeros. I'll be honest, I'm in finance. It took me a minute to count the zeros and find out what the number was. But look, what is the max supply here? 21. Yeah, that's close to Reza. That's close. 21 million. 21 million. And what is the total supply? 19.9 million. And the circulating supply, 19.9. So guys, let me break down this number for you. 19.9 million is in circulation. If I do some simple maths here, guys, that means there's only 1.1 million Bitcoins left to be extracted so that people can buy it. I'm not going to go into halving cycles and too much, right? But the point is, there's only 1.1 million Bitcoins out there left to buy. What does that mean? There's scarcity, guys. Anything that you feel like you can't get or whatever, like the value appreciates. Like, let's just, even if you go to like dating or relations, right? Isn't someone you can't get? Like, you want it more. It's crazy. And it's the same thing in the markets, guys. Human psychology in the markets, emotions. And so I want you to know that this level of scarcity brings demand. And anything with demand, with an actual use case and value, something that adds to our society, will always appreciate in value. So I want you to keep that in mind. Now, let's get back to the PowerPoint. So you guys understand that scarcity is a big part of it. Let's go back to over here. And we also have speed. Transactions are much quicker on the blockchain within crypto. In fact, Visa and MasterCard do 24,000 transactions per second. But what if I told you that there's a crypto called Solana that can do 90,000 transactions per second? Isn't that more efficient? Isn't it true that the inefficiency with the fiat and financial system is actually bad for the economy and energy, but 90,000 transactions per second? Yeah, probably a good thing. So there's some risks involved, guys. Partial privacy. Now, it is true that there is decentralization, as I mentioned, but at the same time, let me put forward an analogy. What if you have a Coinbase account or a Kraken account, but then you're late on your mortgage repayment with your house? And then the government are like, what assets do you have? And you're like, I don't have anything. Like, I just, I'm in debt. I'm struggling. And the government's like, hold on a minute. You have crypto? Coinbase. Hey, does this person have an account? Yeah. This person put their passport on KYC. Okay, you know what? Seize their crypto assets. So the point I'm trying to make is if you have a centralized exchange like Coinbase or Kraken or whatever it is, you are kind of like private, but at the same time, you're not, right? Because you have to do something called KYC. It's called Know Your Customer. Whenever you create an account on a centralized exchange, you put your passport, you put your address, like they have your information. So I just want you to keep that in mind because it's not full anonymity. Anonymity? Yeah, I think it's anonymity is the word, where it's like full privacy, but there is some. And also volatility, guys. But guess what? If you're somebody who wants to be an entrepreneur in life, isn't it true that you look at volatility, which is basically up and down sort of price action and adversity? You look at that as an opportunity. I don't know about you, but unsuccessful people see change as fear. Successful people see change as opportunity. Put a yes in the chat if you guys agree. Put a yes in the chat if you're like, yeah, like I agree. Like whenever something's volatile or a little bit risky, like the people who are able to see the value and they actually get skin in the game, long term, they always do well, right? Like they typically see the other end of things. I mean, like, talk about change. Like I just started learning Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, guys. I'm 5'5", I'm 140 pounds. And I thought to myself, I was like, you know what? I need to challenge myself, right? And I went into the gym. I went into this martial arts gym and I absolutely I just got obliterated. Like week one, it was awful, guys. Like I was getting put in headlocks. Like, like this girl, like she had me down. Like I was bad. Like, and I'm still growing, right? But it was crazy. Like my ego was like, went down like below ground zero, okay? But I kind of thought to myself, I was like, bro, like, I'm not gonna quit. Like, adversity is good, change is good, right? Like, anyone who can see the other side of change, they typically do well. And let me just give you a brief story, guys. Everybody here knows Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon, and people don't realize that Jeff Bezos' story is pretty interesting. Like, talk about change and volatility. Well, guess what? He anticipated in the 1990s that the internet would be a big thing. And I don't know if you guys know this, but if you go on Google and you search up what the newspapers and the media were saying about the internet, yeah, you guys would think we're in like a parallel universe. Like, you guys would think we're in like Marvel, like some other universe that we're not even in right now. And the reason why is because everybody, the media, the businesses, the newspapers, you know what they said? They said the internet was a scam. Like, let's just think about it. Like, they literally told the public the internet's a scam. Don't invest in it. Don't use the internet. Like, human interaction will go. Like, the human race will die. Like, this is what they said in the newspapers. And Jeff Bezos was the one guy that said, hold on a minute. I think there's something at play here. I think the narrative that they're trying to portray, it's not right. I'm going to create Amazon. Like, I'm going to have people buy books online, and those books are going to come to your doorstep. And Barnes and Noble were really traditional. Barnes and Noble is another bookstore, right? And Barnes and Noble were like, they sued Jeff Bezos. Like, they literally said, like, you're taking our idea, putting it on the internet, like, you'll take that's illegal. You can't do that. Long story short, Jeff Bezos won the lawsuit. Jeff Bezos created one of the most successful online ebook, like, now it's not just ebooks, but he's a billionaire. And the reason is because he witnessed change and adversity as opportunity, and he took that risk. It's the same thing in crypto in 2025, guys. People are fearful. People say it won't work. Guess what? You cannot take a bet against technology because technology will always be there. I don't know if you guys see a film called I, Robot by Will Smith. I, Robot, Will Smith 20 years ago. There's like robots moving around and doing stuff. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, like that would never happen. 20 years later in China, they got robots doing your washing. So don't take a bet against technology and take this information serious. And the last one is protection. We're going to move on. Otherwise, Jean-Luc's going to get excited and we're going to do like a 5-hour masterclass. All right. So I was giving you guys a teaser as to what we got going on. But anyway, diversifying your portfolio. How do you build a portfolio? This is a key question, guys. So what we have is 3 categories, and there's many things to think about within these categories, but we're time limited. So the first category is main cap. Main cap is your largest cryptos. They are cryptos that have a market cap, which AKA just means size, right? Nothing crazy. A size of over $1 billion. $1 billion. And so those are the largest ones. That's your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, your Solana. And I'm going to give you guys a little pro tip. This is a pro tip. If you go to CoinGecko here, which is over here, CoinGecko, and if you scroll down, it's based on price, right? It's showing you, sorry, not price, based on size, based on market cap, and it goes in a descending chronological order. So you can see Bitcoin here, 2.2, 537 trillion is Ethereum, and then it goes down and down and down. And so you can see based upon that what cryptos are main cap, what cryptos are the largest. Now, here's a general rule, all right? We're not going to get in the niche, but general rule. The larger the crypto, and write this down as a, equation. The larger the crypto, which means the larger the cap, main cap of it, the lower the ROI, which means return on investment, equals lower the risk. Larger the crypto, lower the ROI, lower the risk. Smaller the crypto, higher the ROI potential, higher risk, okay? Smaller crypto, higher ROI potential, higher risk. And just keep that in mind. There's many other factors, but just keep that as a basic understanding. And so as we dive into this again over here, we have mid caps. Mid caps is the other category. And those are cryptos that are like 100 million to 1 billion in size, right? And so they are cryptos, as you can see here in this portfolio, that are kind of like in the middle, right? That's kind of like your curve. Maybe that's your Filecoin. I'll need to check on the size of these cryptos. Maybe that's the Ondo. Maybe Ondo's a little bit main cap. But yeah, there's some examples that you guys will see on CoinGecko. And then you have your low caps. Now, this is what everybody's kind of like interested in, right? Like, I wanted you guys to put in the chat. Are you more of a risky investor or are you more of a safer investor? Put a 10 if you're risky, put a 5 if you're safe. Put a 10 if you're like, hey, like I'm a risky investor. And put a 5 if you're like, nah, like I'm more of a safe guy. Like I'd rather be safe in my money. I'm not so risky. And anyone who's lying, who I know on this call, I'm gonna catch you out because yeah, some of you lot are saying that you're not risky, but I know you're risky. I've seen your portfolio, but hey, everybody's different, right? 10 for risky, 5 for safe, and it's absolutely fine. There's no right or wrong, good or bad, whatever it is. I first got in crypto in 2021 January. Let me tell you, there was no strategy. There was no strategy. There was hype coin, buy this, buy that. But over time, you educate yourself and you realize, okay, there's three types of investors. This is one of the most important parts of the call. An aggressive investor, a moderate investor, or a conservative investor. Aggressive, moderate, conservative. Now, if you are a, a conservative investor, you're going to have the majority of your portfolio in main cap coins, a smaller amount in mid cap, and an even smaller amount in low cap. Like I'm talking like 5% in low cap. If you're a moderate investor, you're gonna have something like this, something like 60% main cap, 65%, and then you're gonna have something like 20%, 25%, 20% main cap, mid cap, and then you're gonna have something in the low cap, which is the rest of it, like 15%, maybe 20%. But if you're an aggressive investor, you're gonna have something like 40% main cap. Then you're gonna have something like 25% mid cap, and then you're gonna have the rest in low cap because you're an aggressive investor. You're willing to take more risk. Now, what determines the level of risk you want to take? Number one, depends on the type of person you are, depends on the size of the capital that you have. I'm giving you guys factors to consider. It depends on the industries of crypto that you're looking to get into. Are you looking at AI? Are you looking at real world assets? Are you looking at derivatives? Are you looking at real estate based projects? Are you looking at security projects, governance projects? There's many different industries that you want to consider. To the beginners, that might sound like a whole nother language, but if you're a bit more advanced, that's going to make sense to you guys. Now, let's move on. Here are three projects that I would like you guys to consider. Three projects. Number one, Ondo. Ondo is simply tokenization of real world assets. Many people say, hey, what is this like crypto ambiguous, like internet world traveling stuff? Really and truly, a real world asset is something that makes it real. And so all Ondo does, it's based in New York, and New York is very strict with crypto regulation. So, if you're going to ask me, I'm a fan of cryptos that are based in America or New York, particularly, because that shows that the project is very confident that they're not breaking any laws or regulations because, they decided to be based there. And so Ondo simply tokenizes, which basically means brings something physically real into the blockchain. They tokenize US equities. It's basically like US treasuries, US money markets, and they make it tokenized and you get like a 5% APY. And I don't know about you, but 5% a year on your money is better than 1 or 2%, right? That's something a bit more conservative. Then we have something called Filecoin. Now, how many of you here have heard of Google Cloud? How many of you have heard of Amazon AWS? We've heard of these things. Well, I don't know if you know, but Google Cloud is actually a centralized company. It's a centralized technology. That means that employees can look at your data. That means that they're not breaking any rules by basically going in and out of your information. I don't know if about you, but I don't want that to happen. So Filecoin basically removes the middleman, and it's a storage that's decentralized. So you have full ownership over it, and you're not going to have people looking in and out of it. Filecoin have partnerships with Lockheed Martin, which is the US's largest military company. They actually have the largest military contract with the US military. That's great. So Filecoin is another great project. The last one to consider is ICP, Internet Protocol. I know many of you in the community are invested in this, and this is a great project because it's simply a decentralized network that allows big tech companies to run and utilize their softwares. One more thing to keep in mind. I'm going to give you guys like a bonus project. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you guys a bonus project after we introduce somebody who's very, very special. So there's somebody who's on this call. Let me make sure she's on this call. And, the reason why I wanted her to come on here as a testimony for you guys who are guests on this call is because she's somebody who actually has been in the community for almost 2 years now. She's somebody who I highly respect and lives over there in California on the West Coast. And, she's not someone who's like free all the time and just like hops on calls whenever she can and things like that. She's someone who actually has a traditional business. Now, I want you to put in the chat, especially the ladies, like put a 10 in the chat if you're like, hey, like I'm actually quite busy. Like I do a few things. And so, life isn't just free any time of the day, whenever. Like I'm actually pretty damn active. And so if you're somebody who's active on this call, this is somebody who you want to listen to. Why? Because getting involved in the markets as an investor or a trader, number one, it's something which you can make it work. You can make it work. You can schedule things. We have people to sort of support you on this journey. And number two, I'm not going to lie to you guys, like the ladies are killing it when it comes to the markets. In my personal opinion, from working with many ladies here in Dallas, Texas, they are actually some of the best traders and investors in the community. They seem to have incredible emotional control and they seem to have a lot less ego than the guys. So, this is somebody who I'm very happy and blessed to welcome on the call. She's worked with over 20 students in the US and in Mexico. And she's been to over 15 different events, not only as a student, but also as a leader and a speaker. So, Angie, we'd love for you to give us some perspective, a little bit about your experience in the markets. And let's put 10s in the chat for Angie. We appreciate you. And I'm going to go ahead and give you the host there, Angie, to speak for a few moments to everybody on this call. Let me go ahead and give you the ask to unmute. Oh, 1 second. There we go.
Hello, guys. Let's go ahead and give some 777s for Jean-Luc and this amazing presentation he just did for everybody. Jean-Luc is someone that I honestly highly admire. He's someone that is super, super sweet. And since the moment I met him, I honestly have a lot of respect for him and the person that he is. He's very dedicated and very professional. And honestly, my name is Angie. Sorry. My name is Angie. I've been, like Jean-Luc said, I've been with Powerhouse for almost 2 years now. And my experience has been nothing but amazing. I honestly, I was blessed, even finding this community. I was in a path where I was very lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do. All I knew was I wanted to make money. That's all I knew. And I knew about trading. I knew a little bit, but I didn't know. I didn't have that guidance, and that's where I found Powerhouse, and they've been able to guide me through everything. I have my crypto portfolio. It's looking really good right now. I just been plugging in and, doing whatever these educators have been telling me to do. And honestly, it's been amazing. It's been highly amazing. And something that I really highly recommend all of you is to just honestly trust the process, because at first, it could be kind of skeptical. It's something new to you, right? But as long as you keep plugging in and you keep showing up for yourself, more than anything, the results will come. And I'm very thankful for Powerhouse, because honestly, I think when I started Powerhouse, that's where kind of my career or slash future started, because I feel like within myself, I started growing a lot as a person. I became a lot more independent. And yeah, definitely, I love this community, and I'm here forever, to be honest.
Amazing, amazing. And Angie, we really appreciate that. I just have like one or two questions for you. Just like
Yeah.
as a lady who, has been in now crypto as an investor, has been trading for almost a couple of years, like what do you think is one or two big reasons why people should learn about how to trade with the markets? Like why is that such an important skill?
I think I seen this in a book, but the quote was, "If you're not making money in your sleep, you're gonna be working for the rest of your life." So I honestly think that investing has been amazing. One, because you keep your money in a bank account, right, and it's not growing; it's just literally stuck there, right. But when you're putting your money into investments and stuff like that, right, your money is growing in there, right? So why not learn how to grow your money when it's already sitting in a bank? You know what I mean? And for trading, I honestly think every girl should learn how to trade because girls are expensive. And I know that because I'm a hairstylist and I do girls' hair, I do girls' lashes. And keeping up with that stuff is very expensive. So being able to, make money in the markets in the morning and then being able to go get your hair done, your nails done, your lashes done because of the markets is honestly amazing to me. So yeah.
Incredible, incredible. No, I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you for your time. I know, you finished early running your lash business. So we really appreciate it. Let's put some tens in the chat for Angie hopping on here and dropping some value or game of like somebody who literally like has personally been through the ups and the downs of the market and is here traveling and impacting people. So thank you very much, Angie. We appreciate that. And so, yes, family, I want to end this call by giving just one more play, like one more crypto play for those of you who might be a little bit intermediate or advanced or a little bit intrigued about things. And so I hope this call's been beneficial for you. I hope you've got some value about crypto that you didn't know before. So before we round things up, put a 10 in the chat if you feel like you learned one or two things on this call that you can take away and actually apply. Put one or two things if you're like, hey, like, this was made a little bit more simplistic for me, whether you're advanced or whether you're a beginner. I hope this was valuable as day two. I appreciate each and every single one of you. So yeah, the final play that I'm going to give you guys is an incredible project. And so I'm going to share my screen because I want to actually show you just what an example of, crypto being utilized like not in person, but as a utility of what it can actually do. Okay. So this project is really great. And this is called Parcel. Now, this is a small cap project. This is something where, let's go to the website. Let's go to the website of Parcel. This is something which actually is to do with real estate. And so imagine this, right? Imagine the ability to trade real estate online. Like, just think about it this way. Like, maybe you can't afford the deposit of an entire property. Maybe you can't own that, that beachside yacht or beachside crib, sorry, in Miami Beach or in Dubai Marina or something like that. But maybe you want to own a piece of it. Well, what if I told you that there's cryptocurrencies that you can literally own or trade a piece of that market in that city? Like, imagine being able to sell Miami property, or imagine being able to buy London property, or imagine being able to own a piece of a property in Melbourne, Australia. And, it was only $2,000 and now you have a small percent of that property. And guess what? It's growing in value. So, I'm the kind of individual where I never really suggest things that I've never done or looked into. And so that's something that I've personally done and been able to experience. It's a very cool experience. So I want you to know that there is real utility and value for cryptocurrencies out there. You just got to find it and you just got to be plugged in to people who, this is an important criteria, family. Listen to those who have what you want and who have been where you are. Key. Only listen to those who have what you want and who have been where you are. And so I remember in my experience in 2020, I was watching YouTubers and getting some value, but I kind of learned that, hey, like, I don't know if they have what I want. Secondly, I don't know if they've been in a similar position. Therefore, I don't know if it's the best place to take advice and counsel from. So I want you to keep that in mind. We appreciate each and every single one of you. This concludes day 2 of 4 of the Bootcamp family. Now, tomorrow, you do not want to miss that call. Tomorrow, my partner, Jesus Gill, is going to be dropping incredible game. He is going to be tying together leverage trading and investing all in one, how to do both from the comfort of your home at any time of the day. And listen, he is somebody who literally is a full-time entrepreneur. He used to work corporate and now he's a full-time entrepreneur, married at 26, 27 years old here in Dallas, Texas. So you want to be on that call. Make sure you're in the free channel, family, and you'll get access to everything that we have going for the next 2 days. Tomorrow is the same time and the day after is at 9 p.m. Central. So thank you very much for attending. We look forward to seeing you in the group chats and we appreciate each and every single one of you. Have a blessed Wednesday and Thursday, family. Thank you.